Book 82, Punishment of Disbelievers at War with Allah and His Apostle. Narrated Anas. Some people from the tribe of Akhl came to the Prophet and embraced Islam. The climate of Medina did not suit them, so the Prophet ordered them to go to their herd of milch, camels of charity, and to drink their milk and urine, as a medicine. They did so, and after they had recovered from their ailment, became healthy, they turned renegades, reverted from Islam, and killed the shepherd of the camels and took the camels away. The Prophet sent some people in their pursuit, and so they were caught and brought, and the Prophet ordered that their hands and legs should be cut off, and that their eyes should be branded with heated pieces of iron, and that their cut hands and legs should not be cauterized till they die. Narrated Anas. The Prophet cut off the hands and feet of the men belonging to the tribe of Urayna and did not cauterize their bleeding limbs till they died. Narrated Anas. A group of people from Akhl tribe came to the Prophet, and they were living with the people of Asafah, but they became ill as the climate of Medina did not suit them, so they said, "O Allah's Apostle, provide us with milk." The Prophet said, "I see no other way for you than to use the camels of Allah's Apostle." So they went and drank the milk and urine of the camels, as medicine, and became healthy and fat. Then they killed the shepherd and took the camels away. When a help seeker came to Allah's Apostle, he sent some men in their pursuit, and they were captured and brought before midday. The Prophet ordered for some iron pieces to be made red hot, and their eyes were branded with them, and their hands and feet were cut off and were not cauterized. Then they were put at a place called Al-Hara, and when they asked for water to drink they were not given till they died. Abu Qilaba said, "Those people committed theft and murder and fought against Allah and His Apostle." Narrated Anas bin Malik. A group of people from Akhl, or Urayna, tribe, but I think he said that they were from Akhl, came to Medina and they became ill, so the Prophet ordered them to go to the herd of milch, she-camels, and told them to go out and drink the camel's urine and milk, as a medicine. So they went and drank it, and when they became healthy, they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels. This news reached the Prophet early in the morning, so he sent some men in their pursuit, and they were captured and brought to the Prophet before midday. He ordered to cut off their hands and legs and their eyes to be branded with heated iron pieces, and they were thrown at Al-Hara, and when they asked for water to drink, they were not given water. Abu Qilaba said, "Those were the people who committed theft and murder and reverted to disbelief after being believers, Muslims, and fought against Allah and His Apostle." Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, 7 people will be shaded by Allah by His shade on the day of resurrection, when there will be no shade except His shade. They will be a just ruler, a young man who has been brought up in the worship of Allah, a man who remembers Allah in seclusion and his eyes are then flooded with tears, a man whose heart is attached to mosques, offers his compulsory congregational prayers in the mosque, 2 men who love each other for Allah's sake, a man who is called by a charming lady of noble birth to commit illegal sexual intercourse with her, and he says, "I am afraid of Allah," and, finally, a man who gives in charity so secretly that his left hand does not know what his right hand has given. Narrated Sal bin Sa'ad. The Prophet said, "Whoever guarantees me the chastity of what is between his legs, that is his private parts, and what is between his jaws, that is his tongue, I guarantee him paradise." Narrated Anas. I will narrate to you a narration which nobody will narrate to you after me. I heard that from the Prophet. I heard the Prophet saying, "The hour shall not be established," or said, "From among the portents of the hour is that the religious knowledge will be taken away by the death of religious scholars, and general ignorance of religion will appear, and the drinking of alcoholic drinks will be very common, and open illegal sexual intercourse will prevail, and men will decrease in number while women will increase, so much so that, for 50 women there will only be 1 man to look after them." Narrated Ikrimah from Ibn Abbas. Allah's apostles said, "When a slave of Allah commits illegal sexual intercourse, he is not a believer at the time of committing it, and if he steals, he is not a believer at the time of stealing, and if he drinks an alcoholic drink, when he is not a believer at the time of drinking it, and he is not a believer when he commits a murder. Ikrimah said, I asked Ibn Abbas, how is faith taken away from him? He said, like this, by clasping his hands and then separating them, and added, but if he repents, faith returns to him like this, by clasping his hands again. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, the one who commits an illegal sexual intercourse is not a believer at the time of committing illegal sexual intercourse, and a thief is not a believer at the time of committing theft, and a drinker of alcoholic drink is not a believer at the time of drinking. Yet, the gate of repentance is opened thereafter. Narrated Abdullah bin Mas'ud, I said, O Allah's Apostle, which is the biggest sin? He said, to set up rivals to Allah by worshipping others though He alone has created you. I asked, what is next? He said, to kill your child lest it should share your food. I asked, what is next? He said, to commit illegal sexual intercourse with the wife of your neighbor. Narrated Ash-Shabi, from Ali when the latter stoned a lady to death on a Friday. Ali said, I have stoned her according to the tradition of Allah's Apostle. Narrated Ash-Shaybani, I asked Abdullah bin Abi Awfa, did Allah's Apostle carry out the Rajam penalty, that is, stoning to death? He said, yes. I said, before the revelation of Surat An-Nur or after it? He replied, I don't know. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari, a man from the tribe of Bani Aslam came to Allah's Apostle and informed him that he had committed illegal sexual intercourse and bore witness 4 times against himself. Allah's Apostle ordered him to be stoned to death as he was a married person. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to Allah's Apostle while he was in the mosque, and he called him, saying, O Allah's Apostle, I have committed illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet turned his face to the other side, but that man repeated his statement 4 times, and after he bore witness against himself 4 times, the Prophet called him, saying, Are you mad? The man said, No. The Prophet said, Are you married? The man said, Yes. Then the Prophet said, Take him away and stone him to death. Jabir bin Abdullah said, I was among the ones who participated in stoning him, and we stoned him at the Musalla. When the stones troubled him, he fled, but we overtook him at Al-Hara and stoned him to death. Narrated Aisha, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas and Abd bin Zama quarreled with each other, regarding a child. The Prophet said, The boy is for you, O Abd bin Zama, for the boy is for the owner of the bed. O Sauda, screen yourself from the boy. The sub-narrator, Al-Th added, that the Prophet also said, and the stone is for the person who commits an illegal sexual intercourse. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, the boy is for the owner of the bed, and the stone is for the person who commits illegal sexual intercourse. Narrated Ibn Umar, a Jew and a Jewess were brought to Allah's Apostle on a charge of committing an illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet asked them, What is the legal punishment for this sin in your book, Torah? They replied, Our priests have innovated the punishment of blackening the faces with charcoal and tajbiyah. Abdullah bin Salam said, O Allah's Apostle, tell them to bring the Torah. The Torah was brought, and then one of the Jews put his hand over the divine verse of the Rajam, stoning to death, and started reading what preceded and what followed it. On that, Ibn Salam said to the Jew, Lift up your hand. Behold, the divine verse of the Rajam was under his hand. So Allah's Apostle ordered that the 2 sinners be stoned to death, and so they were stoned. Ibn Umar added, So both of them were stoned at the Balat, and I saw the Jew sheltering the Jewess. Narrated Jabir, a man from the tribe of Aslam came to the Prophet and confessed that he had committed an illegal sexual intercourse. The Prophet turned his face away from him till the man bore witness against himself 4 times. The Prophet said to him, Are you mad? He said no. He said, Are you married? He said, Yes. Then the Prophet ordered that he be stoned to death, and he was stoned to death at the Musalla. When the stones troubled him, he fled, but he was caught and was stoned till he died. The Prophet spoke well of him and offered his funeral prayer. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a person had sexual relation with his wife in the month of Ramadan, while he was fasting. and he came to Allah's apostle seeking his verdict concerning that action. The Prophet said to him, "Can you afford to manumit a slave?" The man said, "No." The Prophet said, "Can you fast for 2 successive months?" He said, "No." The Prophet said, "Then feed 60 poor persons." Narrated Aisha, a man came to the Prophet in the mosque and said, "I'm burnt, ruined." The Prophet asked him, "With what? What have you done?" He said, "I have had sexual relation with my wife in the month of Ramadan, while fasting." The Prophet said to him, "Give in charity." He said, "I have nothing." The man sat down, and in the meantime there came a person driving a donkey carrying food to the Prophet. The sub-narrator, Abdurrahman, added, "I do not know what kind of food it was." On that the Prophet said, "Where is the burnt person?" The man said, "Here I am." The Prophet said to him, "Take this food, and give it in charity, to someone." The man said, "To a poorer person than L? My family has nothing to eat." Then the Prophet said to him, "Then eat it yourselves." Narrated Anas bin Malik, while I was with the Prophet a man came and said, "O Allah's Apostle, I have committed a legally punishable sin. Please inflict the legal punishment on me." The Prophet did not ask him what he had done. Then the time for the prayer became due and the man offered prayer along with the Prophet, and when the Prophet had finished his prayer, the man again got up and said, "O Allah's Apostle, I have committed a legally punishable sin. Please inflict the punishment on me according to Allah's laws." The Prophet said, "Haven't you prayed with us?" He said, "Yes." The Prophet said, "Allah has forgiven your sin." Or said, "Your legally punishable sin." Narrated Ibn Abbas, when Maz bin Malik came to the Prophet, in order to confess, the Prophet said to him, "Probably you have only kissed the lady, or winked, or looked at her." He said, "No, O Allah's Apostle." The Prophet said, using no euphemism, "Did you have sexual intercourse with her?" The narrator added, "At that is after his confession, the Prophet ordered that he be stoned to death." Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man from among the people, came to Allah's Apostle while Allah's Apostle was sitting in the mosque, and addressed him, saying, "O Allah's Apostle, I have committed an illegal sexual intercourse." The Prophet turned his face away from him. The man came to that side to which the Prophet had turned his face, and said, "O Allah's Apostle, I have committed an illegal intercourse." The Prophet turned his face to the other side, and the man came to that side, and when he confessed 4 times, the Prophet called him and said, "Are you mad?" He said, "No, O Allah's Apostle." The Prophet said, "Are you married?" He said, "Yes, O Allah's Apostle." The Prophet said to the people, "Take him away and stone him to death." Ibn Shihab added, "I was told by one who heard Jabir, that Jabir said, I was among those who stoned the man, and we stoned him at the Musalla, praying place, and when the stones troubled him, he jumped quickly and ran away, but we overtook him at Al-Hara and stoned him to death there." Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid, while we were with the Prophet, a man stood up and said to the Prophet, "I beseech you by Allah, that you should judge us according to Allah's laws." Then the man's opponent, who was wiser than him, got up saying, to Allah's Apostle, "Judge us according to Allah's law and kindly allow me to speak." The Prophet said, "Speak." He said, "My son was a laborer working for this man and he committed an illegal sexual intercourse with his wife, and I gave 100 sheep and a slave as a ransom for my son's sin. Then I asked a learned man about this case and he informed me that my son should receive 100 lashes and be exiled for 1 year, and the man's wife should be stoned to death." The Prophet said, "By him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge you according to the laws of Allah. Your 100 sheep and the slave are to be returned to you, and your son has to receive 100 lashes and be exiled for 1 year. O Anais, go to the wife of this man, and if she confesses, then stone her to death." Anais went to her and she confessed. He then stoned her to death. Narrated Ibn Abbas, Omar said, "I am afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say, we do not find the verses of the Rajam, stoning to death, in the Holy Book, and consequently they may go astray by leaving an obligation that Allah has revealed. Lo! I confirm that the penalty of Rajam be inflicted on him who commits illegal sexual intercourse, if he is already married and the crime is proved by witnesses or pregnancy or confession. Sufyan added, I have memorized this narration in this way. Omar added, surely Allah's apostle carried out the penalty of Rajam, and so did we after him. Narrated Ibn Abbas, I used to teach the Quran to some people of the Muhajirun, emigrants, among whom there was Abdurrahman bin Auf. While I was in his house at Mina, and he was with Umar bin al-Khattab during Umar's last Hajj, Abdurrahman came to me and said, would that you had seen the man who came today to the chief of the believers, Umar, saying, O chief of the believers, what do you think about so-and-so who says, if Umar should die, I will give the pledge of allegiance to such and such person, as by Allah, the pledge of allegiance to Abu Bakr was nothing but a prompt sudden action which got established afterwards. Umar became angry and then said, Allah willing, I will stand before the people tonight and warn them against those people who want to deprive the others of their rights, the question of rulership. Abdurrahman said, I said, O chief of the believers, do not do that, for the season of Hajj gathers the riffraff and the rubble, and it will be they who will gather around you when you stand to address the people. And I am afraid that you will get up and say something, and some people will spread your statement and may not say what you have actually said and may not understand its meaning, and may interpret it incorrectly, so you should wait till you reach Medina, as it is the place of emigration and the place of Prophet's traditions, and there you can come in touch with the learned and noble people, and tell them your ideas with confidence, and the learned people will understand your statement and put it in its proper place. On that, Umar said, by Allah, Allah willing, I will do this in the first speech I will deliver before the people in Medina. Ibn Abbas added, we reached Medina by the end of the month of Dhul-Hijjah, and when it was Friday, we went quickly to the mosque, as soon as the sun had declined, and I saw Said bin Zayd bin Nufail sitting at the corner of the pulpit, and I too sat close to him so that my knee was touching his knee, and after a short while Umar bin al-Khattab came out, and when I saw him coming towards us, I said to Said bin Zayd bin Nufail, today Umar will say such a thing as he has never said since he was chosen as caliph. Said denied my statement with astonishment and said, what thing do you expect Umar to say the like of which he has never said before? In the meantime, Umar sat on the pulpit, and when the call-makers for the prayer had finished their call, Umar stood up, and having glorified and praised Allah as he deserved, he said, now then, I am going to tell you something which Allah has written for me to say. I do not know, perhaps it portends my death, so whoever understands and remembers it, must narrate it to the others wherever his mount takes him, but if somebody is afraid that he does not understand it, then it is unlawful for him to tell lies about me. Allah sent Muhammad with the truth and revealed the Holy Book to him, and among what Allah revealed, was the verse of the Rajam, the stoning of married person, male and female, who commits illegal sexual intercourse, and we did recite this verse and understood and memorized it. Allah's apostle did carry out the punishment of stoning, and so did we after him. I am afraid that after a long time has passed, somebody will say, by Allah, we do not find the verse of the Rajam in Allah's book, and thus they will go astray by leaving an obligation which Allah has revealed. And the punishment of the Rajam is to be inflicted to any married person, male and female, who commits illegal sexual intercourse, if the required evidence is available or there is conception or confession. And then we used to recite among the verses in Allah's book, O people, do not claim to be the offspring of other than your fathers, as it is disbelief, unthankfulness, on your part that you claim to be the offspring of other than your real father. Then Allah's apostle said, do not praise me excessively as Jesus, son of Mary, was praised, but call me Allah's slave and his apostles. O people, I have been informed that a speaker amongst you says, by Allah, if Umar should die, I will give the pledge of allegiance to such and such person. One should not deceive oneself by saying that the pledge of allegiance given to Abu Bakr was given suddenly and it was successful. No doubt, it was like that, but Allah saved, the people, from its evil, and there is none among you who has the qualities of Abu Bakr. Remember that whoever gives the pledge of allegiance to anybody among you, without consulting the other Muslims, neither that person, nor the person to whom the pledge of allegiance was given, are to be supported, lest they both should be killed. And no doubt after the death of the Prophet we were informed that the Ansar disagreed with us and gathered in the shed of Bani Sa'd. Ali and Zubair and whoever was with them, opposed us, while the emigrants gathered with Abu Bakr. I said to Abu Bakr, let's go to these Ansari brothers of ours. So we set out seeking them, and when we approached them, two pious men of theirs met us and informed us of the final decision of the Ansar, and said, O group of Muhajirin, emigrants, where are you going? We replied, we are going to these Ansari brothers of ours. They said to us, you shouldn't go near them. Carry out whatever we have already decided. I said, by Allah, we will go to them. And so we proceeded until we reached them at the shed of Bani Sa'd. Behold, there was a man sitting amongst them and wrapped in something. I asked, who is that man? They said, he is Sa'd bin Ubadah. I asked, what is wrong with him? They said, he is sick. After we sat for a while, the Ansar's speaker said, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and praising Allah as he deserved, he added, to proceed, we are Allah's Ansar, helpers, and the majority of the Muslim army, while you, the emigrants, are a small group and some people among you came with the intention of preventing us from practicing this matter, of caliphate, and depriving us of it. When the speaker had finished, I intended to speak as I had prepared a speech which I liked and which I wanted to deliver in the presence of Abu Bakr, and I used to avoid provoking him. So, when I wanted to speak, Abu Bakr said, wait a while. I disliked to make him angry. So Abu Bakr himself gave a speech, and he was wiser and more patient than I. By Allah, he never missed a sentence that I liked in my own prepared speech, but he said the like of it or better than it spontaneously. After a pause he said, O Ansar, you deserve all the qualities that you have attributed to yourselves, but this question, of caliphate, is only for the Quraysh as they are the best of the Arabs as regards descent and home, and I am pleased to suggest that you choose either of these two men, so take the oath of allegiance to either of them as you wish. And then Abu Bakr held my hand and Abu Ubadah bin Abdullah's hand who was sitting amongst us. I hated nothing of what he had said except that proposal, for by Allah, I would rather have my neck chopped off as expiator for a sin than become the ruler of a nation, one of whose members is Abu Bakr, unless at the time of my death my own self suggests something I don't feel at present. And then one of the Ansar said, I am the pillar on which the camel with a skin disease, Isma, rubs itself to satisfy the itching, that is, I am a noble, and I am as a high-class palm tree. O Quraysh, there should be one ruler from us and one from you. Then there was a hue and cry among the gathering and their voices rose so that I was afraid there might be great disagreement, so I said, O Abu Bakr, hold your hand out. He held his hand out and I pledged allegiance to him, and then all the emigrants gave the pledge of allegiance and so did the Ansar afterwards. And so we became victorious over Sa'd bin Ubadah, whom Al-Ansar wanted to make a ruler. One of the Ansar said, you have killed Sa'd bin Ubadah. I replied, Allah has killed Sa'd bin Ubadah. Omar added, by Allah, apart from the great tragedy that had happened to us, that is the death of the Prophet, there was no greater problem than the allegiance pledged to Abu Bakr because we were afraid that if we left the people, they might give the pledge of allegiance after us to one of their men, in which case we would have given them our consent for something against our real wish, or would have opposed them and caused great trouble. So if any person gives the pledge of allegiance to somebody, to become a caliph, without consulting the other Muslims, then the one he has selected should not be granted allegiance, lest both of them should be killed. Narrated Zayd bin Khalid al-Jahani, I heard the Prophet ordering that an unmarried person guilty of illegal sexual intercourse be flogged 100 stripes and be exiled for 1 year. Umar bin al-Khattab also exiled such a person, and this tradition is still valid. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle judged that the unmarried person who was guilty of illegal sexual intercourse be exiled for 1 year and receive the legal punishment, that is, be flogged with 100 stripes. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet cursed the effeminate men and those women who assume the similitude, manners, of men. He also said, turn them out of your houses. He turned such and such person out, and Omar also turned out such and such person. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid, a Bedouin came to the Prophet while he, the Prophet, was sitting, and said, O Allah's Apostle, give your verdict according to Allah's laws, in our case. Then his opponent got up and said, he has told the truth, O Allah's Apostle. Decide his case according to Allah's laws. My son was a laborer working for this person, and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife. And the people told me that my son should be stoned to death, but I offered 100 sheep and a slave girl as a ransom for him. Then I asked the religious learned people, and they told me that my son should be flogged with 100 stripes and be exiled for 1 year. The Prophet said, by him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge you according to Allah's laws. The sheep and the slave girl will be returned to you and your son will be flogged 100 stripes and be exiled for 1 year. And you, O Anais, go to the wife of this man, and if she confesses, stone her to death. So Anais went in the morning and stoned her to death, after she had confessed. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid, the verdict of Allah's Apostle was sought about an unmarried slave girl guilty of illegal intercourse. He replied, if she commits illegal sexual intercourse, then flog her, 50 stripes, and if she commits illegal sexual intercourse, after that for the second time, then flog her, 50 stripes, and if she commits illegal sexual intercourse, for the third time, then flog her, 50 stripes, and sell her for even a hair rope. Ibn Shihab said, I am not sure whether the Prophet ordered that she be sold after the third or fourth time of committing illegal intercourse. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, if a lady slave commits illegal sexual intercourse and she is proved guilty of illegal sexual intercourse, then she should be flogged, 50 stripes, but she should not be admonished, and if she commits illegal sexual intercourse again, then she should be flogged again but should not be admonished. And if she commits illegal sexual intercourse for the third time, then she should be sold even for a hair rope. Narrated Ash-Shaybani, I asked Abdullah bin Abi Awfa about the rajam, stoning somebody to death for committing illegal sexual intercourse. He replied, the Prophet carried out the penalty of rajam. I asked, was that before or after the revelation of Surat An-Nur? He replied, I do not know. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, the Jews came to Allah's Apostle and mentioned to him that a man and a lady among them had committed illegal sexual intercourse. Allah's Apostle said to them, what do you find in the Torah regarding the rajam? They replied, we only disgrace and flog them with stripes. Abdullah bin Salam said to them, you have told a lie, the penalty of rajam is in the Torah. They brought the Torah and opened it. One of them put his hand over the verse of the rajam and read what was before and after it. Abdullah bin Salam said to him, lift up your hand. Where he lifted it there appeared the verse of the rajam. So they said, O Muhammad, he has said the truth. The verse of the rajam is in it, Torah. Then Allah's Apostle ordered that the two persons, guilty of illegal sexual intercourse, be stoned to death, and so they were stoned. And I saw the man bending over the woman so as to protect her from the stones. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid, two men had a dispute in the presence of Allah's Apostle. One of them said, judge us according to Allah's laws. The other, who was more wise, said, yes, Allah's Apostle, judge us according to Allah's laws and allow me to speak. First, the Prophet said to him, speak. He said, my son was a laborer for this man, and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife, and the people told me that my son should be stoned to death, but I had given 100 sheep and a slave girl as a ransom, expiation, for my son's sin. Then I asked the religious learned people about it, and they told me that my son should be flogged 100 stripes and should be exiled for 1 year, and only the wife of this man should be stoned to death. Allah's Apostle said, by him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge you according to Allah's laws, O man. As for your sheep and slave girl, they are to be returned to you." Then the Prophet had the man's son flogged 100 stripes and exiled for 1 year, and ordered Unais al-Islami to go to the wife of the other man, and if she confessed, stone her to death. She confessed and was stoned to death. Narrated Aisha, Abu Bakr came to me while Allah's apostle was sleeping with his head on my thigh. Abu Bakr said to me, "You have detained Allah's apostle and the people, and there is no water in this place." So he admonished me and struck my flanks with his hand, and nothing could stop me from moving except the reclining of Allah's apostle on my thigh. And then Allah revealed the divine verse of Tayammum. Narrated Aisha, Abu Bakr came towards me and struck me violently with his fist and said, "You have detained the people because of your necklace." But I remained motionless as if I was dead lest I should awake Allah's apostle, although that hit was very painful. Narrated Al-Mughira, Sa'd bin Ubadah said, "If I found a man with my wife, I would kill him with the sharp side of my sword." When the Prophet heard that, he said, "Do you wonder at Sa'd's sense of ghira, self-respect? Verily, I have more sense of ghira than Sa'd, and Allah has more sense of ghira than I." Narrated Abu Hurairah, a Bedouin came to Allah's apostle and said, "My wife has delivered a black child." The Prophet said to him, "Have you camels?" He replied, "Yes." The Prophet said, "What color are they?" He replied, "They are red." The Prophet further asked, "Are any of them gray in color?" He replied, "Yes." The Prophet asked him, "Whence did that grayness come?" He said, "I think it descended from the camel's ancestors." Then the Prophet said to him, "Therefore, this child of yours has most probably inherited the color from his ancestors." Narrated Abu Burda, the Prophet used to say, "Nobody should be flogged more than 10 stripes except if he is guilty of a crime, the legal punishment of which is assigned by Allah." Narrated Abdurrahman bin Jabir, on the authority of others, that the Prophet said, "No punishment exceeds the flogging of the 10 stripes, except if one is guilty of a crime necessitating a legal punishment prescribed by Allah." Narrated Abu Burda al-Ansari, I heard the Prophet saying, "Do not flog anyone more than 10 stripes except if he is involved in a crime necessitating Allah's legal punishment." Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle forbade al-weasel, fasting continuously for more than 1 day without taking any meals. A man from the Muslims said, "But you do al-weasel, O Allah's apostle." Allah's apostle, I said, "Who among you is similar to me? I sleep and my Lord makes me eat and drink." When the people refused to give up al-weasel, the Prophet fasted along with them for 1 day, and did not break his fast but continued his fast for another day, and when they saw the crescent, the Prophet said, "If the crescent had not appeared, I would have made you continue your fast for a 3rd day," as if he wanted to punish them for they had refused to give up al-weasel. Narrated Abdullah bin Omar, those people who used to buy foodstuff at random, without weighing or measuring it, were beaten in the lifetime of Allah's apostle if they sold it at the very place where they had bought it, till they carried it to their dwelling places. Narrated Aisha, Allah's apostle never took revenge for his own self in any matter presented to him till Allah's limits were exceeded, in which case he would take revenge for Allah's sake. Narrated Sal bin Sa'ad, I witnessed the case of Lian, the case of a man who charged his wife for committing illegal sexual intercourse when I was 15 years old. The Prophet ordered that they be divorced, and the husband said, "If I kept her, I would be a liar." I remember that as Zubair also said, it was said, that if that woman brought forth a child with such and such description, her husband would prove truthful, but if she brought it with such and such description looking like a warra, a red insect, he would prove untruthful. I heard Az-Zubair also saying, finally she gave birth to a child of description which her husband disliked. Narrated Al-Qasim bin Muhammad, Ibn Abbas mentioned the couple who had taken the oath of Lian. Abdullah bin Shaddad said to him, "Was this woman about whom Allah's apostle said, 'If I were ever to stone to death any woman without witnesses, I would have stoned that woman to death?" Ibn Abbas replied, "No, that lady exposed herself by her suspicious behavior." Narrated Ibn Abbas, Lian was mentioned in the presence of the Prophet, Asim bin Adi said a statement about it. And when he left, a man from his tribe came to him complaining that he had seen a man with his wife. Asim said, I have been put to trial only because of my statement. So he took the man to the Prophet and the man told him about the incident. The man, husband, was of yellow complexion, thin, and of lank hair, while the man whom he had accused of having been with his wife, was reddish-brown with fat thick legs and fat body. The Prophet said, O Allah! Reveal the truth. Later on the lady delivered a child resembling the man whom the husband had accused of having been with her. So the Prophet made them take the oath of li'an. A man said to Ibn Abbas in the gathering, was that the same lady about whom the Prophet said, if I were to stone any lady, for committing illegal sexual intercourse, to death without witnesses, I would have stoned that lady to death? Ibn Abbas said, no, that was another lady who used to behave in such a suspicious way among the Muslims that one might accuse her of committing illegal sexual intercourse. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, avoid the 7 great destructive sins. They, the people, asked, O Allah's Apostle, what are they? He said, to join partners in worship with Allah, to practice sorcery, to kill the life which Allah has forbidden except for a just cause, according to Islamic law, to eat up usury, riba, to eat up the property of an orphan, to give one's back to the enemy and freeing from the battlefield at the time of fighting, and to accuse chaste women who never even think of anything touching chastity and are good believers. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Abu al-Qasim, the Prophet, saying, if somebody slanders his slave and the slave is free from what he says, he will be flogged on the day of resurrection unless the slave is really as he has described him. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid al-Juhani, a man came to the Prophet and said, I beseech you to judge us according to Allah's laws. Then his opponent, who was wiser than he, got up and said, he has spoken the truth. So judge us according to Allah's laws and please allow me to speak, O Allah's Apostle. The Prophet said, speak. He said, my son was a laborer for the family of this man and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife, and I gave 100 sheep and a slave as a ransom for my son, but I asked the religious learned people regarding this case, and they informed me that my son should be flogged 100 stripes, and be exiled for 1 year, and the wife of this man should be stoned to death. The Prophet said, by him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge you, in this case, according to Allah's laws. The 100 sheep and the slave shall be returned to you, and your son shall be flogged 100 stripes and be exiled for 1 year. And Awanais, go in the morning to the wife of this man and ask her, and if she confesses, stone her to death. She confessed and he stoned her to death.